Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back.
Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, Chandler? Got your Florida on. How are you feeling?
It's great to be a Florida Gator, Michelle. It certainly is. We're one away. One more.
But let me ask you this. Are you excited that Duke collapsed in epic fashion, or were you looking forward to playing them?
I wanted Duke. I think we all wanted Duke. But you know what? We went from probably being an underdog to being the favorite against Houston. Not saying it's going to be easy, but I think Florida Duke is what the people wanted. But what a meltdown.
I've not seen something like, I mean, my FanDuel account wanted Duke. That's all I was asking for after all of this. But Lou, I mean, it was, first of all, Duke is not used to sort of collapsing like that you could kind of see it in their eyes, like what's happening. Yeah. This is not normal. But what'd you think about the collapse?
I was in the building and I kept reminding my daughter, I was like, Duke's really good, but they start 3 true freshmen. That's the only thing that I was concerned about. I was saying that throughout the game, and in the last 4 minutes of their game, I looked over at her and I said, I told you when it gets real, because we kept admiring, I kept talking to her about the crowd. I'm like, can you imagine playing in front of these people that were packed out from top to bottom? There wasn't one empty seat in the house. And then we were just, going over the crowd and the atmosphere and everything. And I said, the only concerns I have with Duke, they start 3 true freshmen. So if this thing gets real, they're going to turn into freshmen. They're going to turn into 18, 19-year-olds. And sure enough, that's what happened against the Houston team that doesn't quit. That's been their DNA all year. Nope. This is a team that plays throughout the clock until it's over with, and it showed. So I'm excited for this matchup tonight.
I legitimately stopped watching. Like, I was like, all right, we got Duke. Like, they're up, whatever. And there's a stat where like a team is like 301 where they have a higher field goal percentage, more rebounds, more assists, and they just had like a 2.5 minute bad basketball, and it cost them possibly a national championship. It's crazy.
I mean, I think I speak for everyone when I say Cooper Flag overrated, right? We're all good on that. Yeah, on the same boat? Okay. But I kind of felt for the kid. Like, that's a lot of hype, and then just to have it all come down to that. But the other thing, Chandler, it's just all things Florida this weekend. Billy Donovan, Hall of Fame. Did you reach out? Like, how does that work?
I did. I reached out. I spoke to him yesterday. He's the man. Listen, he was a great college coach. He's got that Patino, New York, old school mentality where it's an acquired taste, and he's tough, especially in the college ranks. But he's seen the transition for him now having such a great NBA career. The fact that he's still around doing his thing, he's a great coach, and a lot of credit to him, kind of building up a lot of these guys that came out of that program, and from boys to men, all those guys that played from Billy Donovan. A lot of that credit goes to a dude like him.
Well, championship game tonight. We do have a lot of NBA that was going on all weekend long.
Who cares? Let's talk about the Gators.
I know. I feel like between Ovechkin and college basketball, I was just like, okay. But the NBA did sneak in, and the Lakers should not be ignored, because what they did to the Thunder was actually kind of a big deal. It's just total domination. 126-99 was the final. Luka had 30. LeBron had 19. Austin Reaves, who we will get to, had his 20 points. A season high 22 threes. What a fun time of the season to sort of hit that marker. But here we are, Lou. Everything is still in motion as far as the Western Conference especially. But what did you take from this kind of a win by this Lakers team?
I thought they did what they were supposed to do. You're a game and a half in third. You're sitting pretty, and you're looking back. You see 4 teams with a tie from 5 to 8. It can get tricky. So they were a team that realized they were in third place and they need to stay in third place. And on the flip side of it, you got OKC, who's pretty much just playing the season out. Like, they're not gonna move. They're solidified number 1 seed in the West. They're doing what they're supposed to do. So at that point, you got a bunch of guys that's just trying not to get hurt and trying to get out of there and finish the last 4 or 5 games of the season. But the Lakers did exactly what they're supposed to do when you go out and dominate a team that that's really not playing for anything, and you're playing for everything at the same time. You don't want to have one of these games come back and bite you. So I thought they went out and took care of business, and they got a good production from the top 3 guys they were supposed to get it from.
They really did, Chandler.
Yeah, listen, that game meant everything to the Lakers, and it meant nothing to the Thunder, and it showed throughout the game. And again, can't discredit what the Lakers did. And this is a team that they know they're going to have to go through possibly in the Western Conference Finals to reach the final. So this was a huge statement game for them. This is the kind of win that you want to see towards the end of the season, where you're peaking, you're going up, you're starting to play your best basketball of the year. And this was a great all around full game for the Lakers defensively, holding that team, under 100 points, not letting SGA get to the free throw line one time. I don't care that they're not playing for anything. That is impressive. That is a statement game. They're getting production all around, but for their big three, they continue to be efficient. They continue to be great. So this is a great game, and it meant something more to the Lakers, and it showed.
Yeah, we'll get to the SGA free throw thing, because it's a very interesting stat, especially given sort of how he plays and how people view him as playing. But right now in the West, the Lakers are 1.5 games up on the Nuggets, and Denver has lost 4 in a row. So, yeah, I guess seeding is always going to be very important. But between 3 and 4 here, Chandler, how big a deal is it for the Lakers to keep this up?
It's crazy. Denver. It's a big deal. It's a big deal because, again, like I said, you want to be playing your best basketball. It's too early to sit around and kind of pick your matchups. And they're going to get someone good regardless. If they're 3, if they're 4, they're going to play a Warriors team that's hot. They're going to play a Anthony Edwards, Minnesota Timberwolves team that is really, really good. They could play an experienced vet Clippers team. So I don't think it really matters to them yet. Sure, if their last game of the season, they have a chance to sit guys and to get the Clippers instead of the Warriors. Maybe they do that and they cross that bridge when they get there. But right now, I think it's about being healthy. It's about playing the right way, and it's about playing the best possible basketball to give you the most confidence going into this postseason. And that's what they're doing right now. But it is big. I think you play to get the highest seed no matter who that matchup looks in the postseason. It seems like that's what they're doing.
Yeah, and it's almost like it's impossible to try to figure out who you're going to play. It's a 4-team tie. It can change today, it'll change again tomorrow. So it's impossible to worry about what team you're going to be matched up with. The best thing that the Lakers can do is go out and figure out their rhythm, figure out their matchups, figure out their lineups going into the postseason, and just try to play the best brand of basketball that they can possibly play going into the postseason. So no matter what your matchup is, you feel really confident about moving on to the next round, no matter who it is.
Yeah, and they don't know what these other teams are going to do. So if they go ahead and lose these games, and then the Clippers run off the last 3, and they're trying to pick their matchup, it makes no sense to do right now. It's too early. They're doing exactly right. They got to continue to play. It's too early to rest guys until maybe that last game. If that's what you feel is a more favorable matchup, sure, do it. But right now, you got to keep hooping.
It's kind of fun. I mean, Clippers, Timberwolves, everybody's playing other than Denver, which I don't know what they're doing, but everyone's playing good basketball. Austin Reaves, Lou, I'm a big fan of, once you hit April on the calendar, start looking ahead to the All-Star team for next year. And so given how easy it seems to be right now, he's averaging 26 points over his last 14 games. Yeah. I mean, is it possible that we see the undrafted Austin Reaves as an All-Star?
He's in a run right now. He should have did this at the beginning of the season, and he would have been a bona fide all-star with these numbers. Like, he would have really put himself in a position to be an all-star. But yeah, he has an opportunity. The only thing that's going to hold him back, he's next to 2 legacy acts. He's next to 2 guys that are going to get grandfathered in to this all-star game. If they're having decent seasons, they're going to be voted in. So in order for him to get to an all-star game, they're going to have to be, what they are right now. They're going to have to be a top 3 seeded team, or put themselves in a position where they're going to be the best in the West, second or third or somewhere in there, and then he'll have a realistic opportunity to make the All-Star team. But got to give him credit. He's in an amazing run. He's going to be the key to their success going into this postseason and next season. He's going to be a pivotal piece for this Los Angeles Lakers team. But what he's been able to do in the month of April and March as well has been nothing short of amazing. So kudos to Austin Reaves. But looking ahead to the All-Star game, he's going to have to do this from game 1 all the way to about game 42 next year, considering that he plays next to LeBron James and Luka Doncic, who are almost going to be solidified 1 and 2 All-Star voted in guys. So to get a third guy, you got to be that top seed. You got to be one of the perennial teams in order to get a third guy. Other than that, unfortunately, he's going to get overlooked. But these numbers, it's going to be hard to overlook him if he's able to do this from game 1 all the way to the All-Star break next year.
Yeah, and look, it's wildly early to be thinking about All-Star weekend.
Never too early, Chandler.
But this is why All-Star voting is weird to me, because if Austin Reaves put up those type of numbers that we're looking at right now, the month leading up to the All-Star weekend, he'd probably an all-star. Those are insane numbers. The Lakers are going to be in that top 4, slot in the Western Conference. And you see guys that aren't all-stars that make all NBA or vice versa. So I do think it happens way too early. I feel like in a month into the season, the voting starts. So it's not about having the best season. It's literally about having the best first 2 months of the season to make an all-star. So if he continues to play like this, yes, LeBron James is going to be 41 years old next year. Do I dare say his numbers dip? And I don't know. Probably not.
I don't know. I don't know if you dare say that.
Yeah, probably not. So again, like Lou said, this team has to be elite, like a Cavs team this year, to get 3 All-Stars. Think about how good the Rockets were at All-Star break. Jalen Green's averaging 22, 5 and 4. Didn't make the All-Star team. They got 1. So your team success has to separate so much to get 3. But these numbers, they're undeniable. And again, he is super valuable. He's efficient. Those are all-star type numbers. It just depends on what else is going around in the league, obviously.
And Chandler, guess what? If LeBron decides this summer, you know what? Next year is my last run. He's in the All-Star game automatically.
Oh, great point.
And if Luke is healthy, he's an all-star. So they're getting
him. So it's going to be tough for him unless they're like the 1 or 2 seed and he has these numbers. He'll be a shoe-in for sure.
That's crazy that he may always kind of be on the short end of that. Thunder lost back-to-back games right now. That's the second time only this entire season. Of course, lost to the Rockets on Friday and then this Lakers game. And I'm wondering, as you guys have mentioned, Lou, this is obviously the time of the season where they have nothing to play for in this regard other than to be peaking when playoffs start. But does it also tell you that perhaps other teams maybe are figuring anything out just in time against OKC?
Yeah, you know what? It could be a little bit of both. But from my experiences, this looks like a team that understands that they're in the position that they're in and they're ready for the postseason and they're trying to get out of these games safe and unharmed and healthy. You know what I mean? And we can start at SGA not shooting any free throws. I'm just going to shoot jump shots and I'm going to get out of here. I'm not foul baiting. I'm not doing any of these things to create any unnecessary contact right now. I'm about 10 days out from the postseason. I'm not gonna shake the tree. We're trying to get out of these games in one piece. That's what I'm seeing from the OKC Thunder. And then, if there are teams that feel like they're doing something in their scouting report that's putting them in a better position to beat the OKC Thunder, getting prepared for the postseason, then you give them credit as well. But from my experiences, this is a team that's playing for nothing. They understand that they're not playing for anything. You're getting a half-hearted effort right now, and that's what we're seeing. That's my opinion.
Yeah, they got figured out 13 times this year, and they didn't 64 times. So I'm not panicking. This team is elite. Again, we're going to nitpick when they lose a game like this, but like we said earlier, this game meant nothing to the Thunder besides getting through and hitting the showers healthy and not losing bodies going into the postseason. And it meant everything to the Los Angeles Lakers. So again, there's no reason to panic here. We've seen a full kind of display all season long of how dangerous this team can be, how good they are defensively. It's one of the best defenses we've ever seen in a season between the guys like Lou Dort, Cason Wallace. We don't even talk about it. That dude has a chance to be, all defensive team, maybe not this year, but in years to come, just with his versatility and the depth this team has, the shooting. Obviously, we always talk about Jalen Williams, Chet, SGA. Those guys are so good, but no, I don't think anyone's figured out anything against this team. I think they are loaded. I think they are poised to have a great run in the postseason, and games like this matter nothing to them.
Okay, Chandler, I want you to break down this free throw situation because we live in a world where everyone's like, oh, this is how he plays and he hunts and da-da-da. No free throws yesterday. First time that's happened since 2021 that he had an entire game, SGA, without a single free throw. So he leads the league in them being made. What does this mean? If I just landed on the planet, what does this mean to me?
That he was playing carefully yesterday and that he was not trying to create contact. He was not trying to be touched. And again, the Lakers, I think they made a point. You could see that they had their hands up a lot when they were sliding the down baseline. Like, it's almost like, I just remember a scout report against James Harden. It was like, if you reach when he drives, you're coming out of the game type of thing. And that was the Lakers made a conscious effort to not do that. But again, SGA, he's been creating this contact. He is the best in the game at getting to the free throw line. I don't think it was anything concerning. I don't think it's anything but other than being 100% going to the playoffs. The guy still had 26, 9, and 3 without getting to the free throw line. So I would take this with a grain of salt. maybe the Lakers have this film now to if they do face them in the postseason to kind of see the kind of success they had against them, not putting them at the free throw line. But if they see each other again, SGA will be at the free throw line. This is nothing. I think this is just
It's fun.
Just a cautious game from.
It's a fun stat. It's kind of a sassy stat. It catches your eye for sure. Yeah. Lou, the $1 million question. You got to take one of these guys in a playoff series right now. And I know how you feel. SGA or Luka?
You tell me.
You're not even gonna think about it? Like one's okay. I respect it.
No, I mean we know what Luka is, and we obviously know what he brings to the table. But when we're talking about this year, SGA has been one of two of the best players in the entire league right now. So I don't think that's going to change going into the playoffs. That's not going to change what he's been able to accomplish this year and the way that he's played on both ends of the floor, not just offensively. So if you're asking me to pick one of the two guys, I'm going to pick the guy that's 12 and a half games up and number one based on his abilities and the way that he's been able to play. And that's not a slight to Luka Doncic. These things change year by year. And this year, it's been SGA's year to be the best player in the league and possibly our MVP in the next couple of weeks. And so if I'm comparing him or I have to pick him against anybody else other than, say, Jokic out in Denver, that's probably the only person that I would even have a conversation about picking besides him going into a playoff series. And so this is easy for me. I got SGA for sure.
I like that. Didn't even think. He only has Jokic as the only other guy he'd think about, Chandler. What about you?
He's right. It's tough. It's tough to not take the guy that's going to win the MVP award in the next couple of weeks, right? Obviously, Luka, we know how good he is. Excuse me. We know just last season how good he was taking the Mavs to the finals and that experience he has. But again, this season is all about SGA. He is going to win MVP. He's been so consistent. He's been clutch. He defends. He does a little bit of everything. So again, I still firmly believe that Jokic is the best player. If I had to draft right now to take one player, I'm taking Jokic first, but I'm taking SGA second. He has proven that he is going to win MVP. So why wouldn't I take him? I'd be crazy to not.
Fair enough. We got another good one. Again, Western Conference, lot still up in the air. Rockets, Warriors. Oh my. Curry was held in check in this one. We'll get to that. 106-96 was your final for Houston. 24 points for Dylan Brooks. JALEN Green finished with 21. Şengün with 19. On and on. But Steph's the 3 points. Again, just like that free throw stat caught your eye, Steph with 3 points catches your eye. But the Rockets have now beaten both the Thunder and the Warriors in back-to-back games. They're sitting in the 2 spot, Chandler. There were times during the season where we sort of just kind of gave up on them and thought, they're going to regress. What are we thinking now? Should we be taking them a little more seriously?
I think you have to put respect on their name when they have had the type of season they had, when they play both sides of the ball. They're so well coached. They have this dynamic duo that is young. They're going to continue to get better. But then they have the pieces like Thompson, like Brooks, like Jabari Smith, who's coming off the bench, who he's kind of finding his way in this league. So this team is serious. Yeah, they're young. You can look to, they don't have experience. They're young, but they do have guys like Fred VanVleet who have been there before, played at the, won an NBA title, has played in the biggest games in the world. So when you have someone like that, Steven Adams, you do have some sort of vet leadership in there. So it's not like just a bunch of kids going out there, clueless. This team is real. This team can defend. This team is so deep. So they are real. And now I think it's a huge thing who they get as a matchup. They've locked up that 2 seed. The play-in still has to happen, but they're going to get a tough matchup in the first round. That's just how good the Western Conference is. Whether that's the Clippers, the Timberwolves, we see how jumbled up again. So it's impossible for them to even know who they're playing. But this team is real. They can beat you in multiple ways. And again, their youth is almost to an advantage for them because they're not a team that's going to rest a lot of guys. They're not a team that's going to be banged up. They are ready to go the next day, no matter how many minutes they played the night before. This team is good. And it's just the conference is also so good that it's usually I'd be like, 2 seed over a 7 seed. Give me the 2 seed without even knowing. This year, who knows? Nope. Because that 7 seed is going to be so good.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm glad you said that, Chandler. That was going to be my point. Like, this is a really good team. But let's say that Golden State lands at that 7 seed and that's their first round matchup. With the way that Golden State's playing right now, do we really have Yeah, do we really have confidence in the Houston Rockets beating them in a 7-game series with the way that Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler has been able to blend the way that they play the game? And let's be serious here. They're not going to hold Steph Curry to another 3-point game. You know, last night he laid an egg. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but this is the first time we've seen him do that in years. So if we're saying that in the next few weeks he's going to do it again and again, I wouldn't bet my money on that. So even in the first round, if they get one of these matchups, I don't feel confident in them doing that. Now, some other teams, I absolutely do feel like they can do it. And let's say they get to the Western Conference Finals. Now you got OKC, and OKC is shown we're 12.5 games better than everybody in the Western Conference. So are they serious title contenders? Yeah, I think they got a bunch of talent, like Chandler just laid out. They got a bunch of guys that can be your best player on any given night. But when it comes to a 7-game series, there's 2 or 3 teams that are head and shoulders probably above this team that's going to give them headaches in the postseason. So I don't know.
And think about this. That the play-in tournament, whether it's Clippers, Grizzlies, Mavs, Kings, you want that 7th seed. If you're the Clippers, you want, because you would rather play the Houston Rockets than the Los Angeles Lakers or the Denver Nuggets. So as good as they are and as respect you have to show them, there's still teams technically behind them in the standings that I think are more feared that other teams would rather play. So again, it's a great year to be good, but it's a tough year because the Western Conference is so stacked. You can see that just simply by the standings of how crazy close it is. But I think the teams, if it's the Clippers and Grizzlies, that is going to be an intense game because you want to win that game to lock in that 7th seed to rather play the Rockets than the Lakers or Nuggets, in my opinion.
Yeah, the more we do this, the more we just need to get rid of the conferences. Because if you really think about it, 1 and 2 are at a disadvantage because you don't get to scout as long or watch tape as long because you got to wait. And in the West, everyone's good. I hate this system. Anyways, that's not what we're going to talk about next. Lou, we got to talk about Draymond. It's tape time. Let's watch some video, shall we? Because there was a flagrant call here, a flagrant 1 on Draymond and Şengün. Oh dear, what'd you think, Lou?
You know, that one's tricky. I wouldn't give this one too much. This looks like a routine basketball play to me. Now everything else is typical Draymond getting under guys' skin and trying to get them revved up. But this one right here looks like a basketball play to me. But you know, referees are human. They look at who it is, what type of play it is, and your reputation comes into play. Then they make calls based on it. Like, yeah, I don't know if he's seeking Şengün out right here. You know, like. I really don't, and it looks like it's barely even any contact as well. Like it looks like somewhat of a little baby flop right there. But yeah, I'm not rolling.
I'm not rolling either.
Yeah, I'm not rolling on this one. But again, it's Draymond Green, so everything that he does is going to be considered with a grain of salt, and it's gonna and referees are gonna make this call based on who it is and what it is, and so for that, I'm not rolling on this one. But
that angle. That last angle was just body. It wasn't even to his face.
This angle right here, it's elbow to elbow to me. But
wow, all right, Chandler. But it's Draymond, so what are you gonna do?
What else do you want him to do? Like that looks like a natural movement that he's going to. I don't think this is anything malicious. I don't think this is dirty. Again, the things he did later were a little obnoxious, but like this is just a normal basketball play. It was unfortunate that he got the bow, but this is the risk that you take when you go vertical and you got a aggressive dude coming at you. But I think this is bad. I think this is a natural basketball.
I really think
pretty good acting.
Flop, honestly, now that I'm watching it over and over and over, this is
same
more than anything to me.
Ooh, he's got some good movement. You know what, Şengün? Your game. I was not familiar with it. It's a very good acting job.
It's a great sale.
It's really, really good. I'd watch it 30 times. There was an interaction. This is a weird one too, between Steph and Ime Udoka during the game. So here's what Steph had to say about it afterwards.
Say to you, or I guess what was that conversation the cameras caught entering halftime?
He had made a reservation at International Smoke and then he canceled it. And so I was kind of upset with him. And we went back and forth on that.
Shout out Anthony Slater. Of course, that's his wife's restaurant. It's a good quick answer. But there are, between coaches and players, I don't know. Do we care, Chandler? Do we like the look? What do we think about any of this?
So you don't want to spill the tea. Obviously, this is part of competition, it's part of the game. You're not going to go and tell the media what you guys were talking about. Clearly, it was an exchange of some sort of trash talk on the game, and Steph Curry's probably frustrated. We've never seen him kind of lay an egg like this, which, by the way, we didn't get to it. Does this not just show you how insane this LeBron James 10-plus point streak is going? Do you see a guy like he bet $800,000 to win $13K?
What are you doing?
Over 10 points. It's crazy. Think about how good Steph Curry is. He had 3 points last night. LeBron's had 10 plus for God knows how long. But this is just a frustrated Steph Curry. And I love the fact that this is how he handled himself in the media. And UDOKA, he's an ex-player, and he's an ex-physical, tough, trash-talking player. And that's his coaching style too. He is still that guy. So he's a fiery guy on the sidelines. He's gonna rock with his guys. So I love it. I love games like this. I love the chippiness. I love the physicality. This is what makes the games way more interesting.
God, I love it. Lou, did you see the guy that bet $800,000 to win 13 just on a LeBron 10 plus?
No, but I tell you what, he got more heart than I do.
No, you know what's funny? And you know how I still. This is how I know I love humanity still. Every single person commenting was like, I hope LeBron doesn't even finish this game just so this guy loses. Like everyone was anti. So it was very, I mean, it's a
crazy gamble for some pocket change. If you're going to bet 800 grand, that tells me that 13K is pocket change to you. And you put it on the line, you slick got a problem, brother.
Yeah, we need to have a talk. All right, we got to take a quick break. Jalen Brunson was back. Knicks talk next.
Run it up, run it back.
Well, great news if you're a New York fan. You got Jalen Brunson back yesterday. Nice, easy win over the Suns. He had 15 points in 34 minutes. First game back since way back March 6th. They got the 3 seed pretty much, right? So I should be ashamed for even asking the following question, Chandler, but I'm going to do it anyways. Why play Brunson 34 minutes in his return?
It's a lot of minutes, but again, this is Tom Thibodeau, and this is what he's going to do. And to his defense, missing this much time with the playoffs coming in less than 2 weeks, you need to get your rhythm back, your legs back. You could see last night, it's great to have him back in the lineup, but he was inefficient. He needs time to get his legs, to get his actual game shape cardio back. And he needs more games and maybe he needs more minutes and less games, kind of getting him back prepared to where he was. So again, I don't really ever have answers for Tom Thibodeau's rotations and minutes. I think it is a little risky, but again, it's a sprained ankle. It's clearly healed enough that he is cleared to play, and no minute restriction is a good thing. So I think we got to look at this like a positive. They got their guy back, and yes, they wrapped up to 3 seed, but no matter who they play, Pistons or Bucks, they need this guy healthy, or they will lose that series without Jalen Brunson. So whatever they have to do to get him on the court for that series, that's got to happen. So again, he's going to be rusty. It kind of reminds me of when Luka came back. He's a little passive, didn't have his legs, he wasn't making shots. At least he's got a couple weeks to kind of tune everything up.
Chandler, that's what I was going to ask. You think maybe this is a play to try to get him in his rhythm really fast? You know, they don't have a lot of time before it gets real. Is this Tibbs' way of trying to give him a bunch of minutes where he can turn into the Jalen Brunson that we know? They don't have a lot of time for him to kind of
4 games.
It's not a lot of time to eat. Now, I do think 34 is a lot. That's a ton. I feel like he can get this accomplished in 27, 28 minutes. But I was going to ask, do you think this is Tibbs' way of trying to get him back into a groove?
I do. I think if this was a month ago he came back, I think you kind of see the minutes kind of gradually go up. Maybe start at 25, then for 2 games, then go 25, 30. When you're coming off an injury, obviously you want to slow play it, but they don't have the time. They don't have that luxury. So with 4 games, I kind of see it. I'm interested to see what he does next game, and if he plays all 4 games and how many minutes and where they come. It'll be interesting to kind of see, but I think he's got to play all of them, right? When you miss that much time, I don't think you rest. You just rested and healed for, over a month, 2 months. So I do think this is definitely a game plan. This is a strategy from Thibodeau to let's play him. Let's see how he reacts today, first of all, and then kind of go from there of how many minutes we'll play him in his second game back.
Yeah, I can't imagine he would want to anyway sit out at all. OG Anunoby's been a great story. So he's averaging almost 28 a game over the last 10. And I'm wondering, Lou, hot streak, is this sustainable? Like, how are you looking at OG as we head into the playoffs?
It's a hot streak. I don't know if he's a 28 point per game type of guy. I would have him land right at like 22, 23. But I think this is definitely a hot streak, and it's going to be needed for the New York Knicks. You know, outside of Jalen Brunson and Cat, they're going to need somebody that's going to provide a big scoring punch, and OG is that guy. That's why you go and get him in a trade. That's why you bring him over for runs like this. When you have a guy that's injured, you can step in and be a big scoring punch, and then when he comes back, everything kind of lines back up to where you can be, you know, something short of like 20, 22 or 23 point per game. So I don't know if he's going to be the guy that's going to lead them, because that's what a 27 or a 28 would do for you at this point in the season. But Jalen Brunson back in the lineup, Cat being healthy, he's going to slide back into that third slot, kind of turn into the guy that's going to do the dirty work, that's going to score at will when he needs to score, and be a big-time defensive presence. That's what I see from OG moving forward.
Yeah, and that's 28 points a game without their 28-point game scorer, Jalen Brunson. So you got to credit him for being aggressive, for being able to kind of take on more, take more shots, be more aggressive. But OG's so versatile. He plays defense. He's great playing off good guys and good basketball and movement and cutting without the ball. But it is nice to see when a dude like Jalen Brunson goes down, this is a guy that you can give the ball to, and he can do more. So I'm with Lou. I don't think he's a 25 to 30 point a game scorer, but where he averaged this year, he's 18, 5, 3, a little bit of everything. And yeah, he can explode on certain nights with more opportunity and more more field goal attempts. But he's super valuable for this team because he knows how to play and fit in that kind of third, fourth option role. He's super comfortable with that.
Chandler, this is the second 50 win, but it's a back-to-back for the Knicks. They have not done that actually since 1995. And yet, and we know last season was such an exciting time for New York fans. Do you think that the squad right now is better than what they had at this point last year?
I do. I think this team is really good. I think they've kind of had some inconsistent up and downs. When you lose a Jalen Brunson for how much time they did, that kind of took a real toll on them. And you can see how much worse of a team they were without him in the lineup. But it's still one of the better, most competitive, versatile defending starting five in the league. You look at guys like Bridges and OG, what they can provide with their versatility, defensively, with their shot making. Guy like Josh Hart, who you just know he's going to give extreme high effort and can play him in any position throughout the season, throughout the night. And then you have two absolute 1A type of guys with Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, who they seem to be fitting together. They seem to know how to play off one another. They don't care, whose night it is that night. It's an unselfish basketball team. So I think depth has always been their issue. And now you got guys like Campaign and Deuce that are stepping up. Mitchell Robinson's kind of been the X factor in and out of the lineup. Guys like Precious Achiuwa, I think they're expecting more from. They haven't got that so far. So I think that add a couple more pieces than we're really talking, but yeah, this is a good.
How many pieces you want them to have?
How many? What are we doing?
And also, does it matter how many pieces they have? Because Thibodeau's probably not going to play them anyways.
That's actually a great point. Yeah, why bother? Well, okay, so that's the part, Lou, right? Like I don't know how you judge their success season by season, because they're going to be scheduled at worst. They got to go up against Boston again in the conference semis. And that seems to be a tough battle for them. So is it a failure if they lose again in that round?
It will be, because you went and got some of these guys to get over that hump. And it seems like you're still not capable of beating these teams based on the records that you've had against them this year. Like you're still going to find yourself in a bad spot playing against the Boston Celtics with going to get Cat. We're going to get so many of these different guys with deepening your bench. And like Chandler just mentioned, it doesn't matter if you go get 10 guys if you're only going to play 7 or 8 of them anyways, And so I think the fan base will look at it as a disappointment, because again, you make these moves to get over that hump and still not being able to do so with a new and even better team than you had last year. I think the fans will consider that a disappointing run.
That's tough. That is tough to have to go up against that again. All right, we got some Hall of Fame news we mentioned a little bit earlier on, and Dwight Howard has been elected. Just a reminder, he's first ballot, All-Star 8 times, All-NBA 8 times, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 2020 NBA champ, and he's got a gold medal with Team USA. Chandler, you first. Amongst centers in NBA history, where are you putting Dwight Howard?
I'm putting him in the Hall of Fame, Michelle. I'm putting him, first. I think that's all that matters. There's so many great big men centers out there going to be tough to rank him. I'll tell you this, during his stretch, he was the best center in the league for 10 years, if not more. When his run on the Orlando Magic was insane. I was lucky enough to kind of recruit him, get him to Houston and play for him for a season where it changes the game defensively. And again, nowadays you see guys stretching out, shooting. This isn't him. He was the closest thing to SHAQ that we had with the lob threat, with the physicality. He was unbelievable defensively, just, coming weak side, blocking shots. So I love Dwight. He was one of my favorite teammates of all time. He's a great dude. I think he gets a little knocked for his quirky personality and things that he's done and said off the court, but on the court, this dude was a killer. He was unbelievable. Like I said, he was the best center in the NBA for 10 years. Much deserved. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer. And by the way, he's been so good since high school, coming in, #1 pick, changed the franchise right away. He has been that guy pretty much his whole career. And this is much deserved. So I'm super happy for him.
Lou, do you want to take a stab at it?
I do. This is personal for me. This is a childhood friend of mine. Dwight is somebody that I met when I was 13 years old, and him having the career that he had, going through the things that he went through. Dwight was a media darling. Everybody loved Dwight Howard, and at some point, that narrative kind of changed for him, and people they forgot who he was, and they forgot how dominant he was. I actually got to see him yesterday, and I congratulated him, and he literally took a deep breath and a sigh, and you can tell he finally felt like he got the flowers that he deserved and the recognition that he deserved. First ballot, even being left out of the top 75 conversation, and some of these things, he finally felt like he got his just due. So as a friend of Dwight's, somebody that's grown up side by side with him in Atlanta, in the height of his career, when he was Superman, when he was one of the best marquee players in the league, he always pulled up to anything that I was doing in the community, whether it was a celebrity basketball game or a camp for my kids. He came to one of my camps and he spoke to the kids for about 10 minutes and stayed for the rest of the day, 4 or 5 hours, hanging out with kids. That's who Dwight Howard has represented for me and for my family and for my community. And so I was happy to see him yesterday, happy to see him at peace with everything and how his career went. So big time congratulations to Dwight for sure.
That's really telling that he sighed. He was just finally, I don't have to sit here and feel like I'm an outsider, which is crazy. And by the way, if you look back at the best, 15 or so centers before him, they're all in the Hall of Fame, minus Jokic, who will be. So it's well-deserved, and it probably would have been a scandal had he not done it. Chandler, you mentioned the fact you played with him a little bit. Why do you think he doesn't get more love? The fact that he sighed is very, very much a big part of, he doesn't seem to feel like he gets respected like maybe others do.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's just certain guys that no matter what they do, it's always kind of a negative light shed on them. And again, this guy's just been the happiest, go lucky, big, huge personality outside of the game. And when you watch these highlights, I think people forget how dominant, how much fun he was in the NBA All-Star Weekend in the dunk contest. Again, this is just kind of that stamp of approval where he deserves this, and he's always been a great teammate. I remember when he came to Houston and played with me, he came in with this sick Ferrari. It was this big old hat, and I was like, man, I've never seen that. That thing is dope. The next day he came in, he threw me the keys to the Ferrari. It just literally just let me. I think I drove his car for a month. It's just. I just literally just drove his Ferrari for a month. That's just the type of guy he was, type of teammate he was. He was always happy. He always had a big old smile on his face. And I fully enjoyed my time with Dwight Howard. So I think that can be taken as a negative sometimes. The beef with him and SHAQ about him, I think there's always things taken negative. But my personal experience, he was a great teammate, great guy, and one of the most dominant players this league's ever had. So I'm glad that he finally got this relief. You know what? Finally, I get my flowers. Finally, I get my respect.
The Ferrari 4, that hatchback?
It was the Ferrari, the FF Lusso. Yeah, it was so.
Yeah, the Lusso.
I ended up getting one afterwards. It was just I was like, this is so cool. I met him a week ago. This dude's giving me his Ferrari. This is the kind of guy he was.
It is a cool model. I'm not going to lie. All right, we're going to take a quick break. On the other side, T-Mac with a hot take about LeBron. We'll get to that next.
Running back.
A little you buying that, Lou. You are up first. Tracy McGrady said that LeBron would get crushed. His word, not mine. In one-on-one with other players. What do you think? You buying it?
Nah, I am.
Body alone, like.
I'm not buying it. I think we forget at the first 10 years of LeBron James' career that he was a runaway train that nobody could stop when he was going downhill with the basketball. So if we're talking about 1v1, like I think T-Mac was talking about as far as skill, you know, like if you put the ball in a guy's hands, can he go out and get a bucket? But also, bully ball is part of one-on-one as well, you know, and LeBron was 11-9 against T-Mac in their careers. And so if you take everybody off the court and line him up with T-Mac, I like LeBron's chances just as much as I like T-Mac. So the word crushed sounds crazy to me. I don't know the context. I guess there's not much context when he says he can get crushed in one-on-one with the NBA players. But listen, if LeBron has the ball one-on-one, and I don't know, you pick a guy, who's stopping him from going to get a layup? Like who's stopping him? T-Mac included. So I don't know about crushed. Now, different guys' games translate when you're not playing team basketball and it's just one-on-one. That's different. I don't think this argument is for LeBron James though. So no, I'm not buying that at all.
Crushed is wild.
Crushed is wild. Because also LeBron can also guard anybody. So whether you put a point guard, shooting guard up to a center, it doesn't matter because LeBron James can guard them. Not many people can guard LeBron James, especially on an ISO one-on-one. I understand what he's saying. There's other guys like Kevin Durant, like Carmelo Anthony, more ISO oriented. They're more go get a bucket. That's not why LeBron James is great. Although he is the all-time leading scorer, it's his versatility, his passing. It's the way he plays the game, as well as his scoring. But when I think of one-on-one players, I don't think of LeBron James, but that doesn't mean he wouldn't be unbelievable at it. And he damn sure wouldn't get crushed by other NBA players.
No. Yeah, that one's a tough one. Don't worry, there's more disrespect. SHAQ said that LeBron's longevity is actually a byproduct of how soft the league has become. Chandler, are you buying that?
No, but let's say maybe
what's happening.
Let's say maybe it is. It doesn't change the fact of how hard and how much money and how much time and how much effort this dude spends. Whether that was in the 80s, the 90s, it doesn't matter. This dude puts in the work, and it doesn't matter that the game is officiated softer or there's load management now, because there's plenty of guys that have played in the same era as LeBron that have not had the success and played as long as he has. So sure, maybe the grueling pounding of the way the game was played in the 90s would take a little bit more off his career, but I'm still not buying that. We're guessing. Why would we even think that when this dude spends millions and millions of dollars creating, you know, this way that he's gone about his business and his career to be able to put himself on the floor. So I fully disagree with this. Why would we even nitpick about this guy's career and the longevity of it when he's done it and he's done it at an elite level that nobody has ever done? And at 40 years old, there's never been a better 40-year-old basketball player in the world, on the planet, than LeBron James. So it's weird to even say anything negative about the longevity of this dude's career, because that's part of the reason why he's so great.
I mean, you buying it, Lou? Doesn't seem like it.
No, I'm not buying it. It just feels like another wild take, you know, from some of our legacy acts, man. I don't know why SHAQ would go this route again. I don't have context, but it just sounds crazy to me. Like SHAQ retired in 2011, and he had longevity. So was the league soft when he was in the league still? And also LeBron is somebody that he went to Cleveland to go play next to, you know, and so I don't know what I would love to hear from Shaq's perspective. What year did the league turn soft to him? Like what?
Good question.
When?
Do you know when it happened? Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to know, when did it happen? When did it happen for you, SHAQ? But I think you can credit his longevity to not having any major injuries in his career. Like he hadn't had a knock on wood, he hadn't had a torn ACL or Achilles or any of these things where he's had to sit out a substantial amount of time. Like he's a very durable guy. Give him credit for being durable and taking care of his body the way that he has. And I think that's more of the byproduct of his longevity than a soft league. Even if you don't get touched, there's still wear and tear in long seasons. He went to the NBA Finals for 10 straight years. That's a lot of basketball on your body, and you still played through it. So even if it was soft, he still played 100+ games in 10 straight seasons.
I think people forget that.
Yeah, that's more of a credit than a soft league. And a lot of our tough guys will have something to say about that. Like Draymond Green will have something to say about that. Kevin Garnett will have something to say about that. Dirk Nowitzki, Dwayne Wade, SHAQ included, T-Mac, Kobe Bryant. These are all people that he competed against in his 22-year run. So at what point did the league turn soft? I would like to know. So no, I'm not buying it.
But any player from 2003 to now, they're not going to have that long of a career as LeBron James. So it doesn't matter. Put Shaq, drafted 2023, and I love Shaq. He's my guy. Put him in that same draft to 2025. I guarantee you he would still not have this long and this great of a career. So you can't knock the dude for that era he's played in. And now we're trying to knock him for how long he's played and try and nitpick of why he's done that. It's ridiculous.
Beadle, did he say this? Did he say this on his podcast when he had like the red hat on?
I don't know if it's from. I mean, he's talked a lot the last week, so I don't know if it's from that one or from something else.
If it was that podcast, he must have having a day. Big Diesel was having a day. If that was the day, because he had a lot to say in that podcast.
He was feeling spicy that day, I guess.
He was spicy that day.
We're gonna take a quick break. More Run It Back on the other side.
Run it up, the run it back. Run it up. All
right, let's look at the game tonight for realsies. 1.5-point favorites. I mean, that's basically nothing. Chandler, how are you feeling for real about this?
I'm nervous, but I'm excited. Listen, these kids, we have no 5-star recruits. We had no perennial NBA prospects. Now all of a sudden we got 3. Now we got cats talking about Walter Clayton should be the number 2 pick overall, which is a little crazy, but he's been doing this all year long. And I agree with Ty Golden. If there was one player I want the ball in his hands of all his college basketball, it's that dude right there, Walter Clayton. So I'm hyped as an alumni, as a Gator for life. I am so stoked. I was planning on going, and I was planning on going to the. Honestly, I'm superstitious.
Jinxed.
Now I don't feel like I'm jinxing him if I'm going. Like, so I don't know if I'm still going to go or not, but man, I am
don't go.
I'm so
lose here. Lose good luck.
For the sake of my bracket, this is who I picked for the chip.
Oh dear.
I gotta go with Houston, brother. Just for the sake of my bracket.
Your bracket's still intact, Lou?
Who
I got Houston as
Michelle
this was my championship game pick. This was my championship game pick.
That's you're like
I'm still
against the world, baby.
All right, well, good luck, Chandler. I'm sure the thread will be hot tonight. And Lou, have fun. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Run it back, run it up, run it back, yeah.